Kelly Chesser, and I am interviewing Kamala John, LPN. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kamala John, LPN, lead nurse at Heartland Spine Clinic.
Kamala, will you tell me a little bit about your job?
My job, I basically do everything that the other nurse does here. I just kind of oversee everything, help out with any others that, anything else. I'm just kind of there to be available above and beyond if need to be. And then I just help out my nursing tech however they need to be helped. And we do, patient care here. We are ran as a clinic, spine clinic. Always an opportunity to learn more with this position.
I also noticed you lived in Maryville. Have you lived there very long?
Yeah, I've been in Maryville for basically 28 years now. Spent most of my life there as an adulthood there.
Did you go to school there?
As far as my nursing school, yes. Actually, my senior year of high school, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I did take a VOTEC training to be a nursing tech, which is a good opportunity to help you really figure out if you would like a nursing career or not. So I did that, and then after I got done with that, I started working, and then I was able to get into LPN school and took my LPN schooling through the same school. And then after that, then I had an opportunity to move up in employment in St. Joseph.
What year did you graduate from school? Nursing school?
Nursing school, I can't tell you the exact year, but it's been about 30 years ago now.
30 years ago. In June 2013, you had a patient that wasn't satisfied with her care. Her husband came in videotaping without permission. How did you react to that?
Well, of course, in all the years I've been in nursing, I've never had that happen to me. Of course, years ago in nursing, you thought nothing about people doing anything like that, which nowadays with the technology, it's so much more of a common thing, so much easier to happen. It can even happen without you even knowing it. This gentleman was very upfront about it. He had it recording the moment he walked in the door. So I came out and asked him how I could help him, and he told me what he needed, and I told him I couldn't discuss his wife's care without her permission, and I asked him to please shut the video camera off. He refused to. I told him, it's against the patient's rights, that legally, we could not have him recording without her here or her permission to do so. And so he got pretty irate about that. Didn't seem to want to quit recording. So I walked away from the situation and came in and just called our security to have our security come up and take care of the situation. And that was, they can be pretty strong-holding on you, and you just got to keep a clear mind about you and think through it and figure out what's the best for you in the situation and for your career.
Would you have done anything different?
Afterwards, I thought I really handled it quite well, but after it all happened and I had time to think about it, I wished actually the moment that I noticed he was recording, I would have just walked away from the situation, didn't say a single thing at the moment, and just told him to get security and then have security come up. So that wouldn't have even been a starting factor of all that. And the one thing though that I felt like we did as a team here at our clinic was we suspected when his wife came back he would probably be back. And which he did come, and he brought the recording device. So we instantly had security here ahead of time. So they went in and discussed that with them. She was just kind of in shell shock, really wouldn't say if she was okay with it at all, his wife. So he ended up actually shutting the recorder off because the doctor refused to see her without with the recorder going. He was fine with the patient's husband being in there as long as she was okay with it. So sometimes you just gotta learn from issues as they happen, and learn from others.
Okay. Many people may not know this, but you attend lead nurse meetings monthly. How do these meetings help you in your job?
Lead nurse meetings, that was kind of a role that I was just kind of thrown into, and that's part of nursing, and is something that can happen, and you just kind of learn to roll with it. But as far as lead nurse meetings, they're once a month, and basically all of the lead nurses from all over Heartland Clinic, lab, radiology, whoever it may be, attend these meetings once a month. And at any time, you can even put in things that you would like for them to bring up at meetings. Sometimes you go to a meeting, you don't feel like hardly anything pertains to you, because I know one meeting was basically all about how to give the flu vaccines and what to give what child, and that, which does not pertain to our office at all. I encourage everybody, though, to really, any of that, don't be afraid to absorb it, because you never know when you're going to be caught in an emergency situation or be needed somewhere. And if you know something about it, that kind of helps you. So don't always feel just your field is all you should do. That it's good to get into the other stuff. That way you will have that if you would need it for some reason.
Okay. Can you identify a conflict you've encountered with a patient and how you resolved it?
Conflict with a patient. Well, I worked in pain management for 10 years, so, you have a lot of issues there. You definitely, people definitely do have pain, and then you do get the issues where, maybe they've had pain, but then they become very addicted to pain medications. And then you got some of those which I just call drug seekers, and they're just because, they got that addiction and need that help. And that can be some pretty strong confrontations there. I encourage people to never be afraid to call security or extra help out of your clinic if you feel you need it. Never get yourself stuck in a corner in a room. Always stand where you can get away from the patient, out the door, whatever that may be. Another thing is, just make sure that you stay calm, because if you stay calm, your patient's going to stay calm. So that was something that I really had to work on. And another thing is document every single thing that happened, because the court of law, which is something that's always been drilled in my brain, if you do not record it, it did not happen.
Right.
So make sure you record anything at all.
Do you have a special memory over the 30 years that holds a special place in your heart?
I do have a very special memory. It's kind of sad at first, but it's still a memory for me. We had a small child. He was like a 4-year-old that I got the opportunity to take care of. He had, his mother was a drug addict and did not realize what she was doing, and she had stabbed him numerous times. Amazingly, this little child had survived this, and I had the opportunity to take care of him. Something that did happen with that situation, though, is the mother and the father was divorced. So the father was in prison at the time. So the grandmother of the father came to the hospital and spent the whole time with that child to be there for him, very supportive of him. She was all excited the day he was actually going to get to go home. She was taking him home with her. And then when they got ready to leave, child service showed up, and they would not let her take him home. He had to go into family care, foster type care. So basically they was worried that somebody would, basically warp his mind, tell him what they wanted him to say in court. So that's why they did that, so others could not have contact with him. Not only was this very, very hard on this grandmother, it was very hard on the child. You see those movies where children have their hands on the windows and they're screaming for their grandma or whoever it may be. That was what this situation was. There was me and another nurse that had been nursing many more years than I had, and it was very hard on us, something that we really took into our heart and had a real hard time adjusting to. Those are situations you're going to get into. You know, you got to try your hardest to stay as a nurse, you know, but you get at the point where if you need to have a cry, go have your cry or whatever you need. You know, that's just a caring, wholehearted person. This part is nursing.
That's sad. Breaks my heart. I think we've covered your lead nurse role. What else do we need to know? Do you have anything to add or would like to say?
Well, I, really encourage people to get into the healthcare field. There's always a job in that. One of the biggest thing, I actually have a child now that's in nursing school, and a big challenge I had is people think because you are a nurse or you're in that type of a field that you know everything. They think you're like a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you will be surprised how many people will come to you and say, hey, my child's doing this, don't you think I ought to do this? Never say you ought to. I always, have taught my daughter to do this, and I just say, if it was my child, this is what I would do.
Right.
That way, you're not putting yourself on the line by them coming back and saying, so-and-so told me to do this. No, it wasn't so-and-so told you